Adamawa community accuses Nigerian soldiers of killing 7 protesters. Farmers struggle with high input costs, seek government support. Borno canoe accident, 3 feared dead, 5 rescued. And away from Nigeria, Rapid Support Forces seizes major oil field in Sudan. Hello there and welcome to Niza on Trust TV. I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. And now the news in full. The arrest in Lamurde has taken a deadly turn after the Nigerian army was accused of opening fire on an armed woman during a protest in Lamurde local government area of Adamawa State, killing 7 and injuring several others. The protest followed complaints over what residents described as the slow and uneven response of security forces to a fresh round of communal violence between the Pachama and Chobo communities. Security personnel had been deployed to Lamurde to reinforce a 24-hour curfew declared by the Adamawa state government as violence spread across the area. The curfew followed days of attacks linked to a long-running dispute that has kept peace unstable across the Numan Federation, where tension often swings from calm to crisis with little warning. According to the district head of Giawana, Chief Agoso Uladeno Bamei, the latest escalation followed allegations involving a stolen motorcycle. And now joining us via phone call to discuss on the Adamawa arrest is Chief Agboso Bamei, the district head of Gwawana. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, let's start by knowing exactly. Can you explain what sparked the recent clashes between the Pachama and Chobo communities?
Well, in the month of July, early July this year, there was a conflict, a disagreement about farmland in Rigange and also Waduku. These are Pachama communities in the local government. And the normal traditional mediation process was on to resolve the problem. This is the same process that has been used for hundreds of years to resolve land crises between people and between communities. Unfortunately, people from the Chopo side didn't really like the outcome of it. So on the 7th of July, they came out with arms and attacked the Pachama communities, destroying what we call the 7th, burning it down, and also eventually destroying the Gange on the 11th of July. It took the intervention of the government, sending in security agencies, police and soldiers, and also putting a curfew in place. At first it was a 24-hour curfew. It was relaxed, and then the curfew was persisted up to now. But yesterday, some Togo youths approached soldiers on ground and said that one of their motorcycles, one of their young people, his motorcycle was taken away from him. Now, let me say this, that the theft of motorcycles is a common thing here. Everybody is a victim of it. The house that are amongst us here, the Fulani, the Batma themselves, that's a syndicate that specializes in stealing motorcycles. So to blame it on a particular tribe is something that is not normal. This has not been investigated. They soldiers and said they gave an ultimatum that the motorcycle to be produced in an hour, or else whatever followed should not be blamed on them. Of course, the way they approached the soldiers sent them away, the soldiers drove them away. But later on, they came back and attacked the soldiers, and engaged the soldiers in a gun battle. Of course, the soldiers repelled them. And then in the night, Tinubu was attacked, Waduku was attacked, Kito was attacked, Riganye itself, Lamude, the local government headquarters. So a lot of fighting here and there. And in the morning, late in the morning, the soldiers came, but the people, the Bachama women, thought that they came in late. So they blocked the road, and this went on for some time. Their protest was that soldiers would always come after damage has been done. And they were also protesting what they considered was a partial way in which the soldiers that were on ground to enforce curfew acted, that they acted in favor of the Chobo. They were escorting them to their farms, escorting them when they travel out and all that. They didn't do that to the Bachama community, but they did it to the Chobo. So they felt that the soldiers were not fair, that they were not neutral. They felt like the soldiers took a side. Okay. So it was a protest. Just women with branches and leaves, and they prevented the soldiers from passing just by blocking the road and demonstrating. They did not have arms, and they were not aggressive. They were singing and waving the branches in their hands. Eventually, the soldiers opened fire. They fired into the air. The woman cleared. The road was open. As they were passing, they then opened fire into the crowd of women, resulting in the death of 7 women and about 5 or so injured. While in the hospital now, some of them might not even survive. So that's the summary of what happened. But it's unfortunate that the Nigerian army is using its own bullets on its own citizens within Nigeria, and these are women who are just protesting peacefully. Well, that's what happened today.
Well, that's really an unfortunate situation. But how has the army's intervention, including the alleged killing of 7 women, affected the community?
Of course, it's a bad thing. The community is traumatized right now, and it has further alienated the people from security agencies generally. I mean, the Nigerian army, the image of the Nigerian army has taken a bashing for the past 1 decade now. It's continued to get worse. The proximity of the soldiers with the people has increased, and with it, the people have suffered a lot across the country. Now I'm talking about across the country. And so for the people of Lamude, that image has gotten worse. I mean, these are people who pride themselves in standing for the country, supporting the country. If you know the story of the Nigerian Civil War, you know the participation of the Bachama people and how they helped in keeping Nigeria together. Now, to turn out now that the same army is shooting innocent women in that community, it's really a traumatizing experience, and something that the people are still feeling like it's a dream, like it's not real at all. And for me, it brings to question the use of soldiers in internal security operations. You know, if it were the mobile police, it would have turned out differently. They probably would have used tear gas to disperse the women, not live bullets. They probably would have found ways of engaging with the women and getting them to back down so they can pass. It's not because they are trained to do that sort of thing. But soldiers, you know, soldiers are all they carry are the guns that they have, and their training is to kill in the process of keeping peace and security for the country. So we should revise this and look at the possibility of bringing back the mobile police in a stronger fashion. They have grown quiet in recent times, and their work has been taken over by soldiers. You find soldiers everywhere, and as a result, the army has lost its mystique. That respect that ordinary people used to have for the soldiers is completely gone. I mean, they have been demystified, and this process, what happened today, has further demystified the army in the eyes of the people.
Okay, now, what immediate steps are being taken to protect residents and prevent further violence?
Well, as leaders of the people, we've spoken with the people. We continue to speak to the people to keep the peace. I mean, no matter what you say about the soldiers and security agents, generally, they are actually out to keep the peace. They are actually out for the good of the people. There might be bad eggs amongst them, and we want this investigated. Whoever are the people that did this, because the soldiers were many. And if you consider the number of the soldiers and the people that were shot, you would most probably, it could be one or two people that did the shooting. I'm not sure of that. I'm just guessing. So we need this investigated. The people, the culprits, should be fished out and punished. That's one way you can calm down the people. So security agents generally are working for the good of the people, and they are working for the benefits of the people. But like I said, there are bad eggs among them that would not hesitate to open fire on women, ordinary Nigerian women who felt they are within their rights to insist that the army should be impartial and that the army should be on time.
Thank you very much, Chief Bamayi. I guess we have to leave it here for now. Wish you peace and wish you success in addressing the challenges in the community. The district head of Guyana. Thank you very much. And moving on from Adamawa, we take you to Niger State, where the governor, Mohammed Umar Bago, has officially received the 100 rescued students of St. Mary's Catholic School who were abducted on November the 21st. The children were handed over to Governor Bago by Wing Commander Abdullahi Idi Hong, who represented the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, during a brief ceremony at the Government House, Minna, on Monday. Speaking on behalf of the NSA, Hong said the federal government will continue to take all necessary measures to ensure that communities across the country remain safe. Receiving the children, Governor Bago described the development as a significant moment in reshaping the history of Niger State. He expressed gratitude to President Bola Tinubu, the NSA, and other security partners for securing the safe release of the 100 students. The governor also called for continued prayers for the remaining students and teachers still in captivity. After the ceremony, buses transported the children to Kontagora for reunification with their parents and families.
Today is fundamental and very, very important to redefining the history of this state. I want to thank Mr. President for giving us all the necessary input to rescue these children. I want to thank the NSA and every other person that has been responsible in the recovery of these children. I want to thank development partners here, the UNICEF and others also. We thank you all. And for those that have been praying, continue to pray. We wish to recover the remaining students that are still in captivity, and by the grace of God, in a very short time from now, we're going to record it, inshallah. I want to reassure parents and guardians of these children that they will be safely delivered to them very, very soon. We have called on medical health workers to come and look at them. They will be checked properly and before taking them back to the parents. We're working closely with CAN to make sure that they are safely returned back.
Niger State Governor there, Bago, on the release of 100 students. Now joining us to give more update on the release of the abducted children in Niger is our correspondent, Abubakar Akote. Thank you for joining us, Abubakar.
Good evening.
Now, what's the current situation of the 100 students? Have they been reunited with their parents?
Currently, the children are yet to be reunited with their family.
Okay.
As the governor has said, they are going to undergo medical checkups to establish the state of their health, and before they are reunited, currently they are with the medical officials for medical checkup. So they have not been reunited with the family yet. Probably that will be done tomorrow after the medical examination.
Okay. So what support or arrangement has the government put in place, for their arrival? Are there any special arrangement made by government?
As they arrived, government would not see any special arrangement because they drove into government around after 5 p.m. And they were received immediately and moved into the government house hall, where the governor and the representative of National Security Advisor addressed them, and after that they were moved out of government house in buses again. But perhaps accommodation arrangement have been made for them to pass night in Mina to rest before tomorrow's journey back to Kontagora, and then probably from there to their families.
Okay, what about in Kontagora, where the parents, where they're supposed to be reunited with their parents? Is there any special arrangement? Are the parents, being put together somewhere waiting for them?
No, we did not hear any special arrangement. What we were told was after medical examination, they will be moved to Kontagora tomorrow, and from there they will move to Pakri, where parents will be invited to meet their children and possibly take them back home. But we don't know if the school and Catholic Church or also parents will have a special arrangement for them. But government did not announce any special arrangement for either parents or the children.
Okay, thank you very much, Abubakar, for that update. We hope you give us more update as soon as developments unfold.
Thank you.
All right. Now to agriculture. Dry season farmers in Kaduna State have expressed uncertainty over this year's harvest due to the rising cost of farm inputs and a lack of government support for the agricultural sector. The farmers say the situation has forced many of them to reduce the size of their farms and switch from cash crops to food crops just to sustain their families. Trust TV's correspondent Bello visited farming communities along the river Kaduna in Agabi and Kaduna North local government areas and now completes the report.
It is the beginning of this year's dry season farming cycle, and many farmers are preparing to cultivate various crops using irrigation to sustain production. We grow maize, rice, tomatoes, and onions. These are our main crops. We are preparing for the dry season farming now. Dry season farming requires careful planning and essential resources such as irrigation systems and farm inputs. However, farmers are raising concerns over the high cost of these inputs, which has forced many to shift from cash crops to food crops. Many of us have been discouraged due to losses in this year's rainy season farming because of high farm input costs. We took loans to invest in our farms but couldn't repay due to poor harvest and high costs. We are planning to cultivate just enough food for our families, not for profit. We bought fertilizer at 50,000 naira per bag and sold maize at 23,000 naira per bag. We can't stop farming It's what we know. Despite the challenges threatening Nigerians' long-term food security, farmers say the lack of intervention and agricultural support is limiting their ability to produce food at full capacity. Some use cows to cultivate their land, but many of us still rely on manual labor, limiting our production capacity. Only a few have irrigation machines. Most of us use hand and hoe for irrigation. We have had the government distribute fertilizer to farmers, but we are yet to receive any. I have been farming since 1977. Irrigation farming demands significant resources, including modern machines, improved techniques, and adequate input. However, many dry season farmers are still relying on old and outdated farming methods. According to agricultural expert Engineer Garba of Kaduna Polytechnic, this is affecting the ability of Nigerian farmers to produce enough food for the country.
Now, over the years, if you look at what is happening, one of the things that keeps people away from agriculture is the drudgery involved in virtually all sectors of agriculture. Every unit operation in agriculture, you find out that it is manually done, right from clearing of the land, right from tillage, right from planting, spraying, harvesting, drying. All these things are manually done.
Farmers in these communities remain committed to meeting the food needs of Kaduna State. However, farmers say that low market prices combined with persistently high production costs have left them with little to no profit, and in some cases significant losses, making continued investment difficult. They are appealing to the government for stronger intervention and support to boost their productivity and strengthen food security in Nigeria. Bello Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
And taking you back to issues of insecurity in Nigeria, the United States Congressman Riley Moore has said there is much work still to be done as he raised concerns over rising terrorism and ongoing killings during a meeting with Nigeria's National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. In a statement posted on X on Monday, Moore said discussions focused on terrorism in the Northeast and violence in the Middle Belt, describing the issues as priority for both President Donald Trump and himself. The congressman noted that the delegation and Nigerian officials examined concrete steps that, if fully executed, could enhance security across the country. He also acknowledged the recent rescue of 100 abducted Catholic school children, thanking the Nigerian government and President Bola Tinubu for the efforts. Moore highlighted what he described as a now established joint task force between Nigeria and the U.S. as an example of growing cooperation. On Sunday, the NSA announced hosting the U.S. congregational delegation as part of ongoing security consultations. Ribadu, in a message shared on his X handle, said the visit followed earlier talks in Washington, D.C., centered on mutual security interests. Now, our Benue State correspondent, Emmanuel Akula, is on standby to give us more updates on the U.S. delegation's visit to Benue. Hello there, Emmanuel. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Now, what was the focus of the U.S. Congress visit to Benue State?
Well, yeah, like you already captured, a high-level delegation from the United States last Saturday visited Benue State.
Okay.
And they met with the state governor, Reverend Father Hyson Kalia. However, the meeting was held behind closed doors in the government house. Both the U.S. delegation and the governor did not speak to the media after the meeting. But we read after the meeting on the governor's verified Facebook page, where he confirmed that their discussions were on security and the humanitarian challenges affecting Benue State and the wider North Central region. We also understood that the U.S. delegation also met with other key religious and traditional leaders in the state at the Kali Bishop's house in Makudi. Just so you know that the Bishop's house is just a stone's throw from Government House. There the delegation met with the Kali Bishops of Makudi and Katsina Ala dioceses, Most Reverend Wilfred Anagbe and Isaac Dugu, and the paramount ruler of the Chief People, who is also the state chairman of the Traditional Council, His Royal Majesty Professor James Eyati. This particular meeting was also held behind closed doors. Let me also mention here that Bishop Wilfred Anagbe has appeared before the U.S. Congress severally to speak on the killings in Benue State and Nigeria. And these U.S. delegations included members of the U.S. Congress, the U.S. Assistant Secretary of State, and the U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria.
Okay, now, any specific incident or issues that were highlighted during the visit?
Yes, like I said, the media were not allowed in the venues of these two meetings. But I mentioned that the governor later confirmed on his Facebook, verified Facebook page, that they had discussions centered on security and the humanitarian challenges affecting the state and the North Central. So from what we can say was the reason for the meeting was just what the governor said, because both the traditional leaders and the bishops did not speak to the media, neither the governor himself. So it was just what we read on the governor's platform. But we understand the U.S. delegation are in the state on a fact-finding mission. So that's just what I can tell you.
Okay, how would you describe the security measures that were put in place during the visit? Would you say it was tight, given the precarious situation in Benue?
Very well. There was a very security presence in the town, particularly the Makudi, the state capital, on that day. Police were mobilized, the state police were mobilized to ensure law and order in the state that day. So I can say the security was being done. The people are actually reacting anyway, because their reaction is full of expectation, because like I said, the U.S. delegation, both the U.S. delegation, the Benue State government officials and the stakeholders visited, included the bishop, the paramount rulers did not speak to the media. So the reason and the outcome of the meeting were not reviewed. So the people are quite expectant of the possible fallouts of this visit. Some of them are of the opinion that whether there is a genocide or not, the fact has been established that Benue citizens and of course Nigerians are being killed. So the U.S. government intervention will bring the much-needed solution to the incessant attacks and killings. And according to their reactions, they are hoping that the Nigerian government will take advantage of the U.S. government interest through partnership to address the nation's growing insecurity. So from what we saw, the people are quite expecting, they are expecting that positive results will come out of the visit and the subsequent actions that will be taken.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for that update. Now, moving on.
Thank you very much.
President Bola Tinubu on Monday held closed-door talks with 6 governors elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC, at the State House, Abuja. The governors arrived at the president's office around 4 p.m. local time. The meeting lasted under an hour and ended without a public briefing from any of the state executives. Those in attendance were the governors of Jigawa, Umar Namadi, Edo, Monday Ekpebolo, Ekiti Abiodun Oyebanji, Kogi Usman Dudu, Sokoto Aliyu Sokoto, and Kebbi Nasir Idris. The discussions come as the country faces renewed security challenges, including abductions and attacks on schools and places of worship across parts of the northwest and north central regions. Several of the states represented, Kebbi, Sokoto, and Kogi, have recently experienced banditry and kidnapping for ransom incidents, prompting closer federal-state coordination on intelligence, policing, and rural security measures. When approached by State House correspondents after the meeting, the governors declined to comment. In another development, President Bola Tinubu has issued a stern warning to public officers over the growing threat of corruption, urging them to uphold integrity and leave footprints on the sands of times. Speaking at the Nigeria Excellence Awards in Public Service at the State House Banquet Hall in Abuja, Tinubu stressed that practices such as nepotism, cronyism, political patronage, and weak accountability systems continue to erode effective governance worldwide. He called on officers to rise above entrenched habits and demonstrate patriotism, innovation, and accountability in public service, describing public service as a sacred trust. Tinubu emphasized that Nigeria cannot afford to tolerate actions that weaken institutions or diminish public confidence. Represented at the event by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator Akume, the President praised the awards organizers for maintaining a credible private sector-led evaluation process. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to the speedy trial of kidnappers, bandits, and terror suspects as part of efforts to curb rising insecurity across the country. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, speaking at the opening of the 2025-26 legal year of the Court of Appeal in Abuja, said prompt prosecution is more effective than prolonged detention or relying solely on military action. He noted that quick trials would weaken criminals' networks involved in mass attacks, kidnappings, extremist recruitment, and terror financing. Fagbemi stressed that justice delivery must complement security operations, adding that the government is working to strengthen the capacity of judges handling terrorism-related cases. He revealed that President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of additional federal high court judges to speed up proceedings. He urged Nigerians to unite against terrorism, describing this moment as one that requires collective resolve. The AGF also commended the Court of Appeal for reducing case backlogs through special sitting across its divisions, which he said have improved access to justice nationwide. Now, several suspected bandits were killed on Monday when troops intervened to rescue traders ambushed along the Karawa route in Sabon Birni local government area of Sokoto State. The traders were reportedly traveling from Tara village to the weekly market in Sabon Birni when gunmen attacked them at Kwanar Akimbo around 8 a.m. Residents say soldiers stationed in Kurawa town responded swiftly after hearing gunshots, engaging the attackers in a gun duel that lasted nearly an hour. Several weapons and motorcycles were recovered and taken to Kurawa. One resident told our correspondent. He added that 2 civilians sustained injuries and were receiving treatment at a hospital, but all the traders were rescued unharmed. Communities in Kurawa and neighboring villages were said to be celebrating the successful operation. Confirming the incident, Sabon Birni lawmaker Aminu Boza said at least 9 bodies, believed to be those of the attackers, had been recovered, with further searches ongoing. The latest attack comes barely a day after bandits struck Gatawa and Shalla villages in Sabon Birni and Isa local government areas, killing 7 people and abducting several women. Unidentified gunmen have killed a motorist and abducted occupants of another vehicle in Amala Autonomous Community local government area of Imo State. The police public relations officer, DSP Harry Okoye, confirmed the attack in a statement on Monday, saying it occurred on Sunday evening. Investigations revealed that the assailants emerged from a nearby bush and opened fire on a Toyota Highlander Jeep, killing the driver before abducting occupants of a Lexus RS 300. Although the exact number of kidnapped victims is yet to be confirmed, the wounded driver was rushed to a hospital where he was later pronounced dead. The Imo State Commissioner of Police, CP Abokidan Juma, has ordered a sustained manhunt involving other security agencies and local vigilante groups to track down the perpetrators and rescue the kidnapped victim. The Federal High Court in Abuja has refused an application by IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu seeking to be moved from the Sokoto Correctional Center to a custodial facility closer to Abuja. Justice James Omotosho, ruling on the ex parte application filed through the Legal and Counsel, held that the request could not be granted without hearing from the federal government and the Nigerian Correctional Service. He directed that the respondents must first be put on notice before any order can be considered. The court adjourned the matter to January the 27th, 2026 for hearing. Kanu had asked to be transferred to Kuje or any custodial center within the court's jurisdiction, such as Kefi or Suleja, arguing that his detention in Sokoto, over 700 kilometers from Abuja, made it difficult for him to prepare his appeal. He also said his family members, legal team, and associates are all based in Abuja. Kanu was convicted on November 20th on 7 terrorism-related charges and sentenced to life imprisonment. Authorities moved him to the Sokoto facility over security concerns, following previous prison breaks at Kuje prison. His legal consultant, Aloy Ejimako, filed a motion insisting that the transfer was necessary to enable him to effectively pursue his appeal and access legal support. The presidency has described Nigeria's swift reaction to the attempted coup in the Republic of Benin as evidence of President Bola Tinubu's leadership in safeguarding peace and constitutional order across West Africa. On Sunday, soldiers under a group called the Military Committee for Refoundation, led by Lieutenant Colonel Pascal Tigri, briefly seized the state television station in Cotonou and announced that they had overthrown President Patrice Talon's government. The Beninese authorities later confirmed that loyalist forces quickly overpowered the mutineers and restored order. Responding to the incident in a statement on X on Monday, the special assistant to the president on social media, Dada Olusegun, said President Tinubu's action reaffirmed Nigeria's strong commitment to defending constitutional governance in the sub-region. He noted that by standing firmly with Benin's legitimate government, Tinubu demonstrated Nigeria's resolve to promote dialogue, stability, and respect for democratic institutions. Olusegun said the foiled coup highlights the fragility of democratic transitions in West Africa, but also underscores the need to steady and principled leadership to maintain regional stability. Now, moving on to other stories. Concerned retirees on Monday staged a protest at the government office in Abeokuta, Ogun State, urging the state government to suspend the contributory pension scheme. Speaking on behalf of the retirees, Daniel Akonji, a retired public servant, described the policy as a failed expectation and alleged that the state government had been nonchalant in implementing the laws governing the CPS. He noted that the protesters were those who retired from July this year and lamented that retirees had become beggars, describing their suffering as unbearable. Akonji appealed for the policy to be postponed for at least 5 years or cancelled altogether. Responding to the protest, the Permanent Secretary, Bureau of State Pensions, Arinola Adetayo, stated that all issues regarding the CPS had been addressed and the retirees were already benefiting from the state government's palliative measures. And as Christians' celebrations approach, the prices of chicken, a key staple food during the festive season, has significantly dropped compared to the same period last year. Visiting the poultry section of Agege main market, Trust Television spoke with several poultry farmers who confirmed that the market currently offers some of the cheapest prices for chicken this festive season. The report.
Many Lagos residents traveled long distances to purchase live chickens, buying anywhere from half a dozen to a dozen for themselves and their families. They noted that the prices this season are more affordable at Agege main market than any other market across the state. Poultry farmers also highlighted the reduction in prices compared to December 2024, making this an ideal time for residents to shop for their Christmas celebrations.
Layers is 9,000 naira. Broiler is 10,000, 12,000. And the breeder is very big one. That one is 20,000 now. Corporate, 12,000, 13,000. That is the price. So last year is around 7,000, 6,500, 8,000. Patronizing us, they are turning up gradually. You know, this time there is still days to Christmas, so they don't normally buy it like that. By on the 15th, now people will be starting to buy, but for now they are turning up. The price is reasonable because the layers now we are selling 9,000, 10,000. So the broiler, it depends on the size. Like 2-3 kg of broiler now we are selling 12,000. Inside the market, our chicken is not too cost. The customer enters inside our market, we will buy it cheap past another market. Turkey. Our market is not cost. Small one like 10,000, big one 15,000, 20,000.
Actually, I'm in the first to work for main market. I think you only wala. Depends from last year and this year's chicken. Actually, the weight difference is very, very different, and it's very cheaper than last year. At least the one I bought was 8,000 I bought it. So it's cheaper than the one of last year actually. So it's very cheaper and affordable.
I have local turkey. The local turkey is 70,000. There is B65, the local turkey. Local chicken, there is 10,000, there is 12,000, there is 8,000, there is 5,000, there is 6,000, there is 7,000, like 4,000. I have 3,000 local chicken. I have pigeon, That is 6,055.
Some buyers also shared their thoughts, urging authorities to take steps to ensure market stability.
The price of broilers is 18.20, while the price of breeder 22 for the female one, while for the male one is 30.28, and old layers is 9,000. This year one is very cheaper. In fact, the difference is even clear. Last year we sold layers 10,000. Then for the breeder, the female one, we sold it 25. But this year it's 22.
Poultry farmers are encouraging Lagos residents to take advantage of the current price reduction at Agege Main Market and purchase their Christmas chickens now, while prices remain more affordable compared to other markets in the state.
And now to not too pleasant a story. A canoe accident in Gamborungala, Borno State, on Sunday evening left 3 people feared dead, while 5 others were rescued after the boat capsized during a river crossing between Nigeria's Gamboru town and Fotokol in Cameroon. According to reports, the canoe, operated by Mamman Nur Abbagana of Kasuan Kataku, overturned around 6:30 p.m., throwing all 8 passengers into water. 5 passengers were rescued alive, though their identities are yet to be confirmed. A woman, 34-year-old, Alfosin Makebu Bebarum, and her 2 daughters, 3-year-old Santik Mamajibe and 10-month-old Mama Jilem Bebaron, were feared drowned. Their bodies had not been recovered as of Monday morning, as search and rescue efforts continue. Makama added that police have arrested the canoe operator for violating the Borno State government's safety directive requiring all canoe operators to provide life jackets for their passengers. And away from that, in a drive to promote girls' education and well-being, the Renewed Hope Initiative of Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, has extended its menstrual health empowerment program to Jigawa State, focusing on helping young girls manage their periods with dignity and confidence. The report.
The state launch of the project tagged Flow with Confidence, the wife of the Jigawa State Governor, Hajia Adiza Umar Namadi, represented the First Lady and flagged off the distribution of 10,000 disposable sanitary pads to schoolgirls across the state's 27 local government areas. The initiative, according to organizers, is a deliberate effort to tackle the challenges of menstrual hygiene that often disrupt the education of adolescent girls. By providing menstrual health support, the program seeks to encourage regular school attendance and empower girls to pursue their studies without fear or stigma. In her remarks, Hajia Adiza Umar Namadi noted that many girls face psychological and social barriers during menstruation, which sometimes lead to absenteeism and loss of confidence. She emphasized that the initiative will not only meet their basic health needs, but also restore their sense of pride and dignity.
Menstruation is a natural part of a woman's life, yet for many girls it remains a source of shame, a fear or absenteeism from school. Some girls are forced to stay home for several days every month simply because they lack access to basic natural hygiene materials. This situation is unacceptable in the 21st century, and we must all rise to change it. Through the Flow with the Confidence program, we are saying no more shame, no more fear. Our girls should flow with confidence.
Stakeholders from the education sector, women's organization and development agencies at the event lauded the project as a milestone in promoting gender equality and inclusive learning. They highlighted the link between menstrual health and academic success, calling for continuous advocacy and policy support. As part of the occasion, the Petty Traders Association and the APC Progressive Women Forum jointly recognized the Jigawa First Lady for her sustained commitment to humanitarian causes and women empowerment.
No girl should ever feel embarrassed or excluded just because of her natural cycle. Through awareness, access, advocacy, we can ensure that every young girl grows up in an environment that supports her well-being, her potentiality, and her productivity. To our girls here today, remember that you are all strong, you are capable, you are empowered, and you are all destined for greatness.
Ma, before you are coming, the girls students, they have not been in any polite in Abuja. But during your office, some of our students will be taken by you to Abuja to witness some sign of program, and different grant of money will be given to our students. We thank you a lot for this initiative. We have never witnessed such kind of thing in the office of First Lady in Jigawa State unless you are coming. We appreciate your effort and we continue praying for you. My Allah guidance will be with you and your entrance to continue with that kind of project we are doing in Jigawa State.
With its successful rollout in Jigawa, the Flow with Confidence campaign reinforces the First Lady's broader vision under the Renewed Hope initiative, ensuring that no girl's education is hindered by a natural biological process and that every girl can thrive with dignity and self-assurance.
And for a bit on business, Nigeria's external reserves have surpassed the $45 billion mark for the first time in over 6 years, according to fresh data from the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The reserves now stand at $45.04 billion, a level last recorded on July 23, 2019. The CBN reports indicate that this milestone comes amid a rapid accumulation, with the country adding nearly $5 billion in recent months, a notable achievement compared to the exchange challenges facing many emerging markets. Earlier, the reserves had reached $42.03 billion on September 19, 2025, marking the highest level in 72 months before this latest surge. And away from Nigeria, the Rapid Support Forces, RSF, have taken control of Sudan's largest oil field, Hegli, as fighting intensifies in the strategic Kordofan region. Sources from the paramilitary group, the army, and the oil industry confirmed the takeover on Monday. The RSF, which recently pushed the army out of its last base in Darfur, has shifted its offensive to Kordofan. The region witnessed deadly strikes last week, including attacks on kindergarten and a hospital that killed more than 100 people, among them 63 children, according to the World Health Organization, WHO. An engineer at the Heglig field said production was shut down and workers evacuated to South Sudan. A military source explained that troops withdrew to prevent damage to the facility. Since April 2023, the war between the RSF and Sudan's army has killed tens of thousands of people, displaced millions, and devastated crucial infrastructure. With recent advances, the RSF now controls much of western and southern Sudan, while the army holds the north, east, and central regions. And now for the latest from the sports world, we'll join Kabir Lawal to give us an update.
The decision by World Football Governing Body FIFA that clubs can hold on to their players until Monday, 15 December 2025, before they are released for the 35th African Cup of Nations in Morocco, has necessitated the postponement of the pre-AFCON friendly between Nigeria and Egypt. 7-time winners Egypt and 3-time winners Nigeria were scheduled to clash in a tune-up game in Cairo on Sunday, 14th December, in line with an earlier regulation that ruled that players be released earlier. The game has now been moved to Tuesday, 16th December as a result of the regulation. Aside from the postponement, the game will now be a practice match in order to allow the two teams to make use of more than 5 substitutes in the encounter, which will take off at 8 p.m. Egypt time, and Hashim Shettima Hall in Calabar recently said it has approved the institution of appropriate sanctions against age-cheat offenders in national sports competition, namely National Youth Games. The body in a communique issued at the end of its meeting has admonished sports stakeholders to adhere to the rules of age verification procedures that regulate age-graded national competitions. That's Sport News. I am Kabir Lewin.
Many thanks, Kabir. And with that, we come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV tonight. Do not forget to follow us on all our media handles, media platforms, and join our YouTube live stream for more news. I am Fatima Abbas Hassan, wishing you a pleasant night rest.